morning, St. Martin. Welcome to TVCARiB In The Morning. I'm Ashana Haley. Prime Minister Dr. Luc Mercelina has asked Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof for an extension of the country package deadlines and clarity on the future of the World Bank-managed trust fund. He warned that St. Martin cannot meet current timelines for key reforms or complete the landfill closure without continued support. During a meeting with Schoof, Mercelina said the country's commitment to the reform agenda remains firm, but stressed that the present deadlines are not workable. Our commitment is genuine, he said, but commitment alone cannot override the practical challenges we face every day. I emphasized that extending the timelines is not about delaying progress. It's about ensuring that the reforms are sustainable and serve our people in the long run. They deserve reforms that work, not reforms that are rushed simply to meet deadlines. I have therefore asked Prime Minister Schoof to explore the possibility of an extension of the current end date for the country packages. April 2027 simply comes too early for St. Martin. Mercelina also pressed for decisions on the future of the trust fund, which is scheduled to close in 2028. He said St. Martin will not be able to meet the agreed 2032 deadline for closing the landfill without long-term financial and technical assistance for the Ministry of Public Housing, Spatial Planning, Environment and Infrastructure (VROMI). For us, the landfill is not just a project, it affects daily life, public health, and the future of our children, he said. St. Martin is doing its part. We are committed to the 2032 closure, and the Ministry of VROMI is making progress with agreed-upon sector reforms. But we cannot proceed with this project if we are caught between institutions with differing expectations and timelines. What our people need is alignment, support, and the certainty that the closing of the landfill will really take place in 2032. Only then can we deliver the long-term waste management solution our nation deserves. Following the discussion, Mercelina said both sides had benefited from open dialogue. He said the meeting had been productive because it allowed for honest conversation. St. Martin wants to move forward, and we seek to do so with clarity and genuine partnership. Our people need stability and steady progress. Today was an important step in that direction. Port St. Martin Group, working with the Ministry of Tourism, Economic Affairs, Transport and Telecommunication, TEATT, and the St. Martin Tourism Bureau, STB, has unveiled the first installation of the island's new destination branding at Dr. A.C. Wathy Cruise and Cargo Facility. The brightly colored I Love St. Martin sign now stands in the port's welcome area, positioned to serve as a photo spot for the thousands of cruise passengers and visitors who pass through the facility each day. The design highlights modern, vibrant elements meant to reflect St. Martin's culture, heritage, and visitor experiences. Officials said the port's role as the island's primary entry point made it the logical place to begin the rollout. The branding initiative is part of a broader strategy by TEAT and STB to strengthen the island's visual identity, improve visitor engagement, and encourage organic social media visibility. The port is the first impression for many of our visitors, and this installation beautifully captures the vibrant energy and warmth of St. Martin, said Port St. Martin Group Chief Executive Officer, CEO, Alexander Gums. Providing guests with a dedicated space to create memories through photos reinforces our identity and strengthens the emotional connection travelers have with the destination. We are proud to collaborate with the Ministry of TET and the St. Martin Tourism Bureau on this important project that celebrates who we are as a people and as a destination. This new branding represents more than a sign. It represents our story, our pride, and the experience we want every guest to feel from the moment they arrive, said TEAT Minister Grisha Haliger Martin. Through this collaboration with Port St. Martin and the Tourism Bureau, we are elevating the visual identity of the island and enhancing our visitor experience. This is the first installation of many, as we continue rolling out similar branded points across the island. Our goal is to showcase the beauty, diversity, and culture of St. Martin in ways that resonate with both visitors and our own community. The installation is part of the ministry's ongoing destination enhancement strategy aimed at supporting tourism development and creating recognizable landmarks across the island. Additional locations for similar branded signs will be announced in the coming months. The Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth, and Sport has launched a conflict resolution training, CRT, pilot to address rising violence in schools. Led by the Division for Educational Innovation, DEI, the program brings together educators, first-form students, and parents to create safer, more supportive school environments. The initiative responds to growing concerns highlighted in recent UNICEF and Court of Guardianship reports, which noted increases in fights, bullying, intimidation, classroom disruptions, and cyberbullying. The CRT aims to strengthen school safety, support student well-being, and equip educators with practical tools to prevent and manage conflict. The first week of training, held at Sundial School and facilitated by Regional Youth Development Consultant Dwinette D. Eversley, included 15 educators from 3 secondary schools. The program introduces a system-wide approach based on global best practices such as social and emotional learning, nonviolent communication, positive youth development, trauma-informed care, and restorative practices. Educators agreed that all school staff, not just teachers, must contribute to building a culture of peace. Participants also examined the socio-ecological factors shaping youth behavior and emphasized the need for stronger parental involvement, consistent policies, and unified strategies across schools. Key outcomes included development of a shared safe space charter and plans for a standardized student referral system to ensure timely support. The pilot aligns with the National Youth Monitor, which will be used to assess school climate and track progress. In the next phase, students will help co-create the Safe Space Charter, develop leadership skills, and use new tools such as mediation logs and peace scorecards. Week 1 closed with optimism as educators voiced renewed commitment to fostering respectful, caring school communities. The long-term program runs through 2026 and is supported by consultants with Caribbean-wide experience in youth violence prevention. As Week 2 begins, the focus shifts to student participation and a parent workshop. This phase, led by Marlon Bascom and Kwasi Cujo, will guide first-form students through activities to strengthen peer leadership and deepen a culture of peace. New tools, including peace scorecards, mediation logs, and parent-student pledges, will help schools document progress and refine their approach over time. The Minister of Public Health, Social Development, and Labor, VSA, extends heartfelt congratulations to the filmmaker and the Breaking the Chokehold initiative team for the successful completion of their series of community screenings and expresses his enthusiasm for continued collaboration. Phillipsburg, Sint Maarten, December 2025. The Ministry of Public Health, Social Development, and Labor, VSA, announced that the Honorable Minister, Richenel S.J. Brugge, participated in Sint Maarten's national observance of the annual Unite 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence campaign, held from 25th November to 10th December 2025. The campaign, which began on the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, November 25th, and concluded on International Human Rights Day, December 10th, underscored the global community's commitment to ending violence against women and girls, while strengthening systems that protect dignity, safety, and human rights for all. In alignment with this year's theme, the Ministry of VSA partnered with the Breaking the Chokehold initiative, a community-centered program dedicated to advancing proactive and prevention-based approaches to domestic violence. This initiative placed national focus on early recognition of domestic violence indicators, safe exit planning before crisis escalation, strengthening the role of community observers, promoting community leadership and accountability, supporting victims while upholding professional and ethical boundaries. As part of the 16 Days of Activism, The ministry and its partners hosted 3 free community screenings of the film Chokehold, followed by expert panel discussions and a specialized workshop titled Be Informed, Be Aware, Stand for Change. The workshop, held on the final night at the University of St. Martin, was facilitated by Ms. Cassandra Richardson, a respected advocate and practitioner in gender-based violence prevention. Panelists included Ms. Patsy Richardson, St. Martin Police Force, KPSM, Ms. Ramona Riley, domestic violence advocate, Dr. Nolan Nanthon, mental health professional, Dr. Ann Marlin Evans, clinical trauma specialist, Mr. Hubert Pantoflet, community representative. Throughout the observance, Minister Brugge emphasized the importance of collective responsibility in combating domestic violence. He stated, "The prevention of domestic violence requires coordinated community action. Through education, awareness, and early intervention, we strengthen our families and communities." The Ministry of VSA remains committed to supporting initiatives that safeguard the well-being and protection of all residents. The ministry expressed appreciation to the Breaky Program credits, film, Chokehold, production, CARiB Scene Productions and partners, producer, Mr. Joel Ayuk moderating the Chokehold team, panelists and the residents of St. Martin who attended the community screening, panel discussion, and workshop, and contributed to a unified national response aimed at reducing and ultimately eliminating domestic violence in the community. Thank you for watching today's edition of TVCARiB in the Morning. Until our next edition, have a great day.